Here from Central Caribbean Marine Institute is Miss Katie Ebanks. Thanks so much for joining us, Katie. Take it away.
Great. Thanks, Eden. Thanks, Rita. As Eden said, my name is Katie Ebanks. I'm the Education Manager at the Central Caribbean Marine Institute, and really happy to be joining you today. Thanks for sticking through to the third hour, everyone. So for anybody on the call who's not familiar with CCMI, this is an aerial shot of the Central Caribbean Marine Institute's Little Cayman Research Center, as we are based on Little Cayman. We are a nonprofit institution which was founded in the US, based in the Cayman Islands. However, we are a UK charity, we are a US based nonprofit and a Cayman Islands charity as well. And our mission is, and our vision is, a world with vibrant oceans and healthy coral reefs. So that statement really reverberates through the rest of this presentation as you think about the heart of our organization and what we're trying to achieve, what we're working towards here. Okay, so just a bit about what we're doing and why. And so many of you on this call, again, preaching to the choir, already probably know the importance of coral reefs from a global perspective down to a local perspective here in Cayman. They provide homes for marine life and therefore food for us and for other marine life. They protect our coastal communities from storm damage, and in turn, they protect the mangroves and seagrasses, which are also critical habitat, which are connected to the health of the reef. So it's not just about the coral reefs, it's about a whole ecosystem perspective, from the mangroves to the seagrass beds, the sand flats, the coral reefs, and the deep ocean. It's all connected, and the terrestrial land as well. Coral reefs are constantly getting new discoveries for advancements in medicine, which is obviously very beneficial to us humans. And they provide a huge income of support for a large global population of humans, which are more and more humans are living in coastal regions. And so they are stakeholders directly affected by the health of coral reefs overall. And coral reefs generate about $6 trillion a year in profit from fisheries to tourism, ecotourism, from environmental protection agencies, from a myriad of industries and organizations. So really they are an important, and valuable financial asset to our entire planet, as well as locally here in Cayman. And you may know that although coral reefs only occupy less than 1% of the seabed of the ocean floor, they're home to over 25% of all marine life at some point in their life stages. So they're critically important for a large percentage of the biodiversity in the entire ocean. And fun fact, for those who didn't know, back in 2016, Georgetown Harbor became a Mission Blue Hope Spot. And for those who aren't aware, Mission Blue is an incredible private nonprofit agency founded by Dr. Sylvia Earle, who was a pioneer in oceanography in her field. And she is still advocating for ocean health today. She is a powerhouse of a woman. I encourage all of you to check out Mission Blue. And what they're doing is assessing various ecosystems all across the globe and assigning a stamp of Mission Blue Hope Spot to areas of critical importance that meet certain standards, meaning they have endangered species, they have critical habitat, they are showing signs of hope in the future, despite climate change and local anthropogenic factors as well. And so we have Georgetown Hope Spot in Grand Cayman, and in 2020, the entire island of Little Cayman became a Mission Blue Hope Spot as well, which is huge for us. So some really great news coming out of that. So some challenges faced by coral reefs as well, of course. So globally, we've got climate change. This is everything from rising sea surface temperatures to ocean acidification, to increase in storms, intensity and storm, the amount of storms we're having every year. Unsustainable fishing practices. You may have heard Claire earlier say there are no sustainable fishing practices, and there are many studies out there that would support that claim. Eutrophication, which is just a fancy word for excess pollution. And this is everything from direct marine debris, which we've touched on here a lot, to things like runoff from agriculture. So an input of nitrates and phosphates and things like that, which luckily here in Cayman, we have very little of, we think, because we don't have a lot of farmland and we don't have a lot of freshwater input, which is creating runoff into our coral reefs. So that is really good for us. And as I said, ocean acidification. And so taking that global challenges down to the local level in the Caribbean and here in Cayman, some of the largest challenges that our coral reefs are facing, as published in our impact summary from 2021, is the destruction of habitat. This is from things like anchor drops and anchor drags to direct grounding events by ships and boaters, actual taking of the reef. So people going out and being like, oh, this coral is beautiful, I want it in my home, and actually taking it physically. And also human interaction with the reef. So even though many of us are divers and snorkelers and we love to experience the reef, we may occasionally accidentally bump into the reef, and that creates direct damage. Sedimentation is huge locally, and this is a direct effect from coastal development. So even though we don't have any sedimentation coming from freshwater sources, we do have excess sedimentation from any development on the coast and dredging opportunities, things like that. So we are seeing an increase in sedimentation, as well as localized effects from those global effects as well. So we are seeing local changes in sea surface temperature, in pH, in acidification. We are seeing sea level rise. The high tide line is changing. The vegetation mark is changing in Cayman. All things that all of us, this information is right at our fingertips on the Department of Environment's website, as well as on CCMI's website from our long-term monitoring efforts. So our organizations are really publishing a lot of information on these direct effects. So if you're interested, I encourage you to seek more publications there. Okay, so what are some current research initiatives that we have going on at CCMI? So currently we have our Healthy Reefs project, which is monitoring done on the coral reefs surrounding Little Cayman annually every year for over 20 years. We're now in our 23rd year of annual surveys. And every decade, we survey all across all 3 islands. And so that information is published and available on our website in our reef report cards. And I'll go into that a little bit later as well. We also have some ReGen funding this year, which is fantastic, which is looking at coral reef resiliency and using assisted research techniques to go forward with best restoration practices. And just so everyone's aware, resiliency is a term that is crucial right now where we are with research, because we are looking for organisms, for corals, for different coral reefs across the Cayman Islands and globally as well, which are undergoing negative impacts such as coral bleaching or coral diseases, and instead of being wiped out, are able to come back the following season or able to survive and continue growing or continue contributing to reproduction on the reefs. So that's resiliency, when we are researching these particular corals and being able to see that they're staying with us for many years over time. So that's what we're really looking for with this ReGen project. We've also had a coral nursery for over a decade now. CCMI off of Little Cayman had the first coral nursery in the Cayman Islands, and it's still going on today. And so continued research efforts are happening with that nursery to look for staghorn coral, which is historically one of the major contributors to Caribbean reefs, as well as Cayman's coral reefs, and looking at certain genetics, genetic makeup of that staghorn coral to see which are our strongest ecological winners for the future, those corals which will be the most resilient against climate change. So we're looking at more of that. And then in 2020, we opened our REAL lab, which is the Reef Ecology and Evolution Laboratory. And in that lab, we have 4 projects current and 2 pending, which you may have seen in some of our local media from the Compass. I would like to speak on that more, but they're very in depth. So I encourage anybody who wants to know more about that to look at our website on the REAL page, and those projects are all listed for you right there. There we go. And some research results. So since our last meeting in 2021, we've had 15 peer-reviewed publications pumped out of CCMI by our staff and collaborative scientists. As I said earlier, we have our annual reef report card, which has gone out. Every year we do this. So we had one in 2020 and 2021. And next summer in 2023, we will be publishing results from the surveys going on in 2022, which are happening right now in Little Cayman. So stay tuned for that. We've also just published some really exciting surveys from Georgetown Harbor and up and down 7 Mile Beach Corridor in Grand Cayman on the impacts of reduced human activity due to COVID-19 on reef fish populations in the Cayman Islands. So this is still in progress, the actual publication. However, a poster was presented at the International Conference, the International Coral Reef Symposium in 2021, which just happened last month in Bremen, Germany. And that poster is available on our website as well for anyone to go and see the raw information there. However, the publication is still in progress because we are continuing to do surveys on the fish populations in Georgetown Harbor now that cruise ships and kind of life has come back to normal. So this study was really looking at the fish populations and the fish dynamics in the Georgetown Harbor and 7 Mile Corridor in COVID, when there was no cruise ships and very little noise in Georgetown Harbor versus back now where we have that impact. So that's what we're comparing there. And then we have our impact summary, which was published in 2020, and it was an overall impact summary of 20 years, 25 years of CCMI research. So that is also available on our website. And I thought that, you know, I feel like there's a lot of doom and gloom around what's going on in the ocean. So I just wanted to share a little bit from this year's reef report card. First, some positive results. This is just for Little Cayman, mind you. So this is not taking into account Cayman Brac or Grand Cayman. This is just from surveys done last year around Little Cayman, assessing the benthic habitat communities or the coral reefs or the bottom of the ocean, as well as the fish populations. So those results show that over 90% of the reefs surveyed in Little Cayman were classified as either good, good plus, or very good reef health state, which is by and large well above the rest of the Caribbean standards. Coral cover remains constant and relatively high, again, compared to the rest of the Caribbean, which is great news. Just for your information, coral cover, as far as a healthy reef is concerned, is considered to be about 10% of coral cover around the reef. Whereas in the Cayman Islands, we have between 18% and 26% coral cover at various sites from Grand Cayman, Little Cayman, and Cayman Brac. So we are well over double the Caribbean healthy standard, which is really great for us. I mean, this is just another reason why we all need to be doing things that everybody on this call is doing and acting as stewards for the health of our environment and those coral reefs. Some other positive results, we've seen fish populations recovering. And the biggest news story there is this includes parrotfish, which you may know are a key herbivore on the reefs, meaning they're responsible for eating a lot of that algae. And when the algae overruns a coral reef, this doesn't allow for corals to grow because the algae takes over too much space. So when there's a healthy population of parrotfish and long spine sea urchins and other key herbivores, they kind of keep that macroalgae in check and allow for more space on the reef for these stony corals to grow and allow that reef to continue over time. We've seen that fish biomass is higher inside of marine protected areas than outside, which we've shared this information with the Department of Environment, and we think this is one of the key reasons that there has been a recent expansion, which we are stoked about, and it's great news. We have seen a macroalgae decline, which would really go along perfectly with our increase in parrotfish. So this makes sense. And we've seen a density increase in groupers overall, which, as many of you know, the NASA grouper spawning irrigation off of the west end of Little Cayman has been protected for over 25 years, going into 30 years now by the Department of Environment, the Cayman Islands government, and various nonprofit institutions from all over the world. And we are seeing direct results of that protection, which is great news. And again, overall increases in fish density, fish biomass, and species richness overall. Now, some challenging results. We are seeing a shift in coral species. And what this means is that over time, historically, the reefs have been built by much larger species of corals, things like giant mounding species. And now we're seeing a shift or a change in trend to smaller species. So you may see this when you go out on the reef yourself, snorkeling or diving, that instead of those really large mounding colonies, you're starting to see some smaller colonies. And we're also seeing a decrease in coral surface area. This sort of correlates with that first result, just showing that the overall surface area of corals we surveyed is getting smaller. This means there's less capacity for absorbing the light they need to get the nutrients into their zooxanthellae, which they need to survive. And so that decrease in coral surface area is directly reflective of going from larger species to smaller species. And then probably the most alarming result that we're seeing over time is this little bar graph down here on the bottom left side of your screen, on the bottom right side of this report card. This is a trend in coral recruits. So this is coral babies after corals spawn once a year, which is where they release their gametes into the water column and mix with each other and generate new genetic sequences, and they settle on the reef and create more corals. And unfortunately, we are seeing a significant decline in the last 20 years in coral recruits on our reefs. And this is scary. This is something that really demands attention.
Sorry, Katie, does that said 83% since 2004? I was
correct.
Wow.
It's significant. So we can take more questions about that specifically at the end if you're interested. Okay, so what else does CCMI do? We don't do just research. We also have education programmings, outreach initiatives, and conservation projects going on. And so our goal is to conduct cutting edge research and then translate those research, that results that we're learning from that research into education initiatives so that we can get the word out about what's going on the reefs and what all of us can do about it. Not just scientists, but everybody, because it's all part of why we're here and everyone can make a difference. So education programming is huge at CCMI. We have various K through 12 programs, which are from within the Cayman Islands and abroad. We have university programs which come visit us from the States, the UK, and all over the world. We have internship opportunities for various age students. And of course, we have Reefs Go Live, which is a virtual live experience. It's an interactive program, which is free for everyone, where one of our educators is live on the reef and teaching a lesson which aligns with the Cayman Islands national science curriculum. So teachers and it's targeted towards primary school students. And so, but everybody is welcome to join. And I've heard from a lot of people that everyone learns a little something. So everyone is free and welcome to join, and we encourage you to do so. And we're teaching things like symbiosis on the reef. What is a coral? What is the importance of the connectivity between a mangrove, a seagrass bed, and the coral reef? Things like that from underwater live. So people can ask questions to the educator underwater in real time. So if I'm underwater and a shark swims behind me, you know, little Johnny in the UK can ask, oh, Miss Katie, what species was that shark? And I can turn around and say, oh, that's a Caribbean reef shark, Johnny, thanks for asking. So super cool program. And then with Reefs Go Live, we develop teacher resources, lesson plans, activity sheets, vocabulary sheets to go along with each of those lessons. And those are also freely available on our website and go along with those Reefs Go Live, which are all recorded. So if you're unable to join us live, you can always watch the pre-recorded or the recorded broadcast and still get that lesson and be able to use those lesson plans. I just wanted to bring attention to the fact that many of our programs have local scholarships available for Caymanian students only. So our marine ecology course, our Caribbean Marine Ecology Camp, our Young Environmentalist Leadership course, and our Ocean Science Scholars Program, those are opportunities for Caymanians only. So there are hundreds of scholarships that we're able to give out every year due to the generous funders who donate to them. And so we really tried to get the word out about these opportunities because it really allows the young people in our country to get that link and inspire, hopefully, that connection with their environment and with their cultural heritage so that they want to protect it in the future. And that's really the end goal, right? Is for those young people to kind of take our places. And so we hope that our education programming really instills that inspiration at a young age, and then they continue to come back to us in primary school, secondary school, and in university for an internship, and maybe hopefully someday for a job. That's our goal. And here's just a brief video. I know that the volume won't work, so you can get an idea about that Reefs Go Live experience. Pretend there's really epic music playing. Again, talking about the importance of that Mission Blue Hope spot.
What was the shark there in the opening shot?
A Caribbean reef shark. Probably the most common species that we see is the Caribbean reef shark and the nurse shark. Classic spotted eagle rays, love seeing them, hawksbill turtles and green turtles. A little burrfish and a southern stingray. We get to see all. The best part about Reefs Go Live is that even though we have a lesson plan going into it, we never really know what's going to happen live, right? So we've been fortunate enough to have a Caribbean reef shark swim right in front of me. We've had a school of horseye jacks come in school. It's really kind of exciting because you never really know what's going to happen. Okay, so you get an idea. We can move on to the next slide. Okay, and some current education opportunities that we have going on right this second is the Boda Charitable Star Trust has funded 2 primary school classes in the Cayman Islands to come to CCMI this fall for a free marine ecology course. So that's a residential course for 3 days. They stay at CCMI on Little Cayman for free. Up to 50 students can win. So that contest is open on our website. The Caribbean Marine Ecology Camp, it's only during the summertime, so we will have 2 more camps next summer, and we give 5 local scholarships to teenagers in the Cayman Islands who want to join us for that. Our Young Environmentalist Leadership course is 10 local scholarships. This is a 4-month commitment, and I have to say it's my favorite educational opportunity. We take these 10 young people who want to have a future profession in ecotourism, environmental conservation, or marine science, and we get them certified from open water to advanced and rescue diver status. They receive their emergency oxygen provider, first aid, and then they come to CCMI for 10 days where we give them on-site job training, professional development skills like interview skills, CV building, cover letter writing, an introduction to underwater field research methods and fish surveying and coral identification, all kinds of stuff. So that's a pretty prestigious scholarship. We usually get about 40 to 50 applications a year, and only 10 students are allowed that opportunity. So that's a really great one. And then our Ocean Science Scholars internship, 2 to 4 interns every year come through and stay with us for 3 to 6 months and get real hands-on job experience. And then this October on the 5th at the National Gallery of the Cayman Islands, we're having a teacher meet and greet so that all of the new teachers and educators, club managers, even parents who are interested can come and meet our education staff. And we give a little tutorial introduction to our education programs and get to meet each other. So here actually is the winning video from the BOTA Charitable Star Trust contest last year. Again, the words that you're going to see on the screen here are the students singing. So you'll have to, I'll share the link in the chat after this so you can hear the students singing the song they made. This was their entry to show how badly they wanted this opportunity to come to CCMI. It was from West End Primary School on Cayman Brac. And this contest is open to all primary schools in the Cayman Islands, years 4, 5, and 6, after school clubs, environmental clubs. It is targeted towards years 4, 5, and 6 because the funders have a soft spot in their heart for primary school students. So that's why the limit there on the age. But yeah. They developed this song and sang it to us and sent us the recording. So this is also on our website, but I'll send it in the chat box. Okay, and our outreach and conservation efforts. So we have outreach events going on all across the Cayman Islands. I'm actually joining you today from Cayman Brac, and we have Reef Lecture Series opportunities on Grand Cayman, Little Cayman, and if there was a need or a desire, if we had the funding, we would love to come to Cayman Brac and do more of this sort of stuff. We offer tours every Friday of our research station, as you can see here on the left, and we frequently attend public awareness events like Women's Dive Day at Dive Tech, Coral Fest, Mangrove Fest, things like that. We have a Healthy Reefs initiative where we invite people to be a part of our newsletter and take part in our Healthy Reef initiatives monthly and annually. This can be things like going plastic free 1 month and minimizing your meat consumption 1 month, things like that. And our Reef Relief Squad, which I'll talk about in a minute. And then conservation efforts. As I said earlier, we have a coral nursery. We have several citizen scientist opportunities, which are open and available on our website for any local citizen scientists who want to take part in CCMI's research and education programming. Our whole team is certified to cull the invasive lionfish. So we take part in weekly culls across Little Cayman and in our free time on the weekends to eradicate the lionfish as best we can. And we have sustainability initiatives at the research station, like going solar and minimizing our carbon footprint as best as we can. So how can you get involved all across the globe? You can support our Healthy Reef for the Future initiative. More details about that are on our website. You can attend a Reef Lecture Series, and if you can't attend in person, many of our Reef Lecture Series are actually available via Zoom, so you can attend virtually. We have our annual fundraiser called Festival of the Trees on Grand Cayman, where we get a lot of generous funding to help fund things like the MEC scholarships and the local Young Environmentalist Leadership scholarships. So we do, as a nonprofit, require funding so that we can allow these opportunities for our local youth and local citizen scientists. And you can join the Reef Relief Squad, and you can do the Cayman Islands Marathon or half marathon with us, or the Bogue Swim, which is a relatively new event where people actually swim from the west end of Cayman Brac to the east end of Little Cayman over that deep water, which is about 5 miles, and fundraise to do so. So that's pretty intense. And then, of course, there's always opportunities for collaboration, volunteering, sponsorship, becoming a member, fundraising, or donating to us. Because, as I said, shameless plug, we are a nonprofit. Okay, and so more on a personal note, how you can help. I think it's just really important, and everybody on this call seems to be on the same page, that we're all more mindful citizens of the planet. This is from a global perspective all the way down to a local perspective. This involves so many things, whatever each of us can do in our own capacity to help. So consuming a plant-based diet, instead of relying on recycling, just straight refusing single-use plastics, reducing our consumption overall and reducing the consumerism and the materialism, reusing what we have and repairing what we have to increase the longevity of our clothing, our vehicles, everything that we're purchasing, and then recycling as the last resort. Supporting small businesses and shopping local so that we're minimizing our carbon footprint on shipping things in. As a small island nation, of course, we do rely on a lot of imports, but there are small businesses and local farmers which we can choose to shop from. So we should be doing that. Joining a local beach cleanup, we've heard a lot about this. Here's a photo from earlier this year when Protect Our Future, a student-led youth organization based in Grand Cayman, joined us at CCMI for a 3-day marine ecology camp or marine ecology course, and after their beach cleanup, as you can see. You can become a DOE certified lionfish culler and get to cull lionfish and volunteer. There's so many organizations in the Cayman Islands and globally which really value our volunteers, and we all need the help. So just get in touch if anything I've said kind of strikes a nerve and felt a little bit inspired to do so. And you can read even more tips on how you can help in your everyday life on our website. So really, I encourage you to do that. And also get in touch with me. I love talking to people who are interested in learning more about our marine environment and coral reefs and what we can all do to minimize our impacts. So please, here's my contact information, send me an email, and maybe we can set up another talk at another time. So that's it for me. I can see there's some questions in the chat. Oh, we're gonna hold on questions, okay. Sounds great. I will share some links in the chat box here. Otherwise, I'll be available for chat at the end. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much, Katie. What is the date of the Festival of the Trees for this year?
Oh, great question. November 18th, 2022.
November 18th.
Yep, and that information's on our website as well.
Fantastic. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks for asking, Eden.
And we're holding on questions now. Once again, www.reefresearch.org, and all the information is there. And as Katie said, get in touch with her about anything. Some really awesome initiatives there. Love to see how much students and young people are being approached and encouraged to get involved with this. And I know that at our son's school, they watch Reefs Go Live, and these kids have some amazing, really insightful questions. Actually, it's like they're aware of a lot more than we think they are, and so it's really, that's just an awesome program that I personally have really enjoyed as you've been doing that. So thank you so much for all of your efforts.
Yeah, thank you.